Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. How was your day? Good to see you again.
Priscilla, how are you?
Thank you for joining.
Please help confirm the sound. So our day was great.
Thank you. Okay, so it's a beautiful Friday. It's
Another
a
beautiful
Friday.
day. Oh, Joyenia, good evening.
How are you? How was your day? Thank you for joining.
Okay, Priscilla has given us 7. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, let's just wait for another 1 minute, just 1 minute, then we start. You know, today is for scriptures and prayers. Excuse me.
Basically scriptures anyway, because
Yes,
we've
scriptures.
now moved prayers to morning.
Yes,
So for prayers, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. every day apart from Sundays.
And the topic for today is triumph of faith over fear. Triumph of faith over fear.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. So touch the button small. Touch that button small. So Abigail, good evening. Thanks for joining.
Abigail, thanks for joining.
But Abigail is still owing us.
Is she?
Yes.
Oh, yes, Abigail, there's one story you haven't told us about the Bayelsa.
The Bayelsa connection. Bayelsa, Nasarawa, Bayelsa. You think we'll forget?
She actually must have started an unfinished transaction in Bayelsa.
Ran to Nasarawa.
And
Bayelsa said, no way, you cannot just come back. She's laughing. He said, that you. We won't forget.
Oh my God. Okay.
You know, we are talking about triumph of faith over fear. And we all know that in life, we face challenges, you know, and some of them seem so tough and almost insurmountable, you know. Sometimes it may just be peer pressure. It may just be academic struggles. It may just be personal issues, you know. Everyone, you know, we always say it here. Everyone, no matter who, is going through something. You know, it's either the person is going through something or something is going through the person.
Or the person is about
to go through
something.
But whichever way, there is actually something. It's either something is chasing the person or the person is chasing something. Whoever, you know, whether it's the president of the country, whether it's the richest man in the whole world, whether it's the poorest person in the whole world, everyone, you know, has one thing or the other. He's chasing or that is chasing him. So now, the challenges can make us feel small, you know. It can also make us feel powerless. And but the Bible teaches us that if you have faith, no matter how small it is, you can always overcome. And we have that in the story of David and Goliath. You know, if you want to know more about that, you can read 1 Samuel chapter 17. You will see the whole story. You know, sometimes people will just think that it did not happen. You know, there are people that think it did not happen, that it was just a story. Just as we just come and say, story, story, story. Don't worry, we are going to play video. We're going to play, two videos, actually. We're going to play 2 videos for you to see. And after watching those videos, we now tell us, you know, what you think. Okay, very inspiring videos. Don't miss it. Don't miss that video at all. Okay. Fedna, thanks for joining. Oh, Ogechi, thanks for joining. Chizoba, yes, thank you. You know, I was just talking about
Ogechi,
the topic.
it's been a while, Ogechi, how are you?
I was just talking about the topic, triumph of faith over fear. And I was saying that there are so many pressures in this life, challenges. Some are small, some are big. Some look almost insurmountable. And then whoever, you know, whatever the person's position, there's always one thing the person is chasing or something chasing the person. And we talked about the story of David and Goliath. And I said that you can find that in the 1 Samuel chapter 17. Most people know the story, you know, where Goliath, champion, you know, warlord, he's been in their army, he's been fighting, experienced, you know, well suited, well kitted. He wore everything, helmet, breastplate, everything, you know, covered. And he was tormenting and oppressing the people, the children of Israel, you know, calling them names, telling them to come out. And they were all afraid for days, for months, and in fact weeks. Okay. He was day and night. He was challenging them. Nobody agreed to come out. David, a very young shepherd, okay, shepherd boy, he was not in the army. He wasn't trained. He came out and said he was going to challenge Goliath. And indeed, he challenged Goliath. And in his mind, you know, what he used was faith. Because he didn't have spear in his hand. He did not have sword. He did not have any equipment. You know, and yet, he challenged Goliath and said, today, this your head will be off your shoulder. And he will show it to the whole world. He will show it to birds for them to come and eat the carcasses and all that. Now, there are so many things that we can learn from that. But before we do that, I want us to watch this video. And after you finish watching this video, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Okay.
Or legs. And when he tells the story of his birth, the shock, the confusion suffered by his parents, he'll have you in tears. Growing up wasn't all that much fun either. So how did this poor little Aussie kid do so well? Become school captain, go to uni, get a double degree, and set himself up in a really great job. That's the story we're about to tell. A message of hope that's helped teenagers all over the world cope with their problems. A message you'll never forget.
You should jump in, mate.
Nick Vujicic was born with no legs and no arms.
I'm going out on a limb. What do you want?
But he's sure got plenty of guts.
This is scary right here, mate. This is where you gotta have guts. Or you're a bit crazy. 10. Nice, mate. Thank you very much. You're a generous judge.
This 25-year-old Australian is climbing over every obstacle life puts in front of him, and he's doing it with style.
You really can do anything, can't you?
Well, there's no harm in believing so.
Everybody's going through something. You know, we're all going through something, just my pain is a bit more visible than yours or somebody else. When that clicked, it was like a light bulb when, you know, just flashed in my brain. I'm like, hey, now life I see as an opportunity. This circumstance, there's got to be something good.
No arms, no legs.
No worries, mate.
So do you see yourself as a disabled person?
I know I have no arms, no legs, but the definition of disability is something stopping you from being able to do something. In my life, there's hardly anything I've found that I can't do.
Even
that
golf.
I want to, even golf.
I think we're getting a bit out of control here.
Should I take over?
No.
There you go.
Nick is an inspiration with a phenomenal passion for life that's intoxicating for everyone who meets him.
Nice. Give me 5, man. I feel like I'm enjoying life and my life more than the average person out there. That I'm achieving more things than the average 25-year-old. It's great. I'm fulfilling my dreams, man.
Those dreams brought Nick to America 18 months ago. In a short time, he's become a smash hit as a preacher and motivational speaker.
Welcome, Nick Vujicic.
The secret to his success here is his Aussie accent and the ability to laugh at his lot in life.
Yeah, when you see me from the outside of a vehicle, you have no idea that I have no limbs. And we're at the traffic lights and this car comes up next to us and this girl's looking at me. So I look at her, she looks at me and I'm like, cool, let's have some fun here. I grab the seatbelt in my mouth and I loosen it like this. And then in the car seat, I just did this. And she was like, it was awesome.
Humour underpins everything for you. Humour in your message.
You know, if I start feeling sorry for myself, then I know that you know, if I've got a sad face, I'm a poor guy, you know. But if they see a guy, you know, who's able to joke about himself, you know, it's good to laugh once in a while, mate. It's a good relief. It's really, I mean, to be able to laugh at life, that's what I've found that I can now accomplish. There were many times I couldn't do that.
Nick was born in Melbourne in 1982, the long-awaited first child of Boris and Dushka Vujicic.
When I was born, the doctors held me low enough so she couldn't see me as soon as I was born, and she heard me cry. But obviously she saw a worried look in the doctor's face. He went pale. My dad looked over, and you know, his face colour changed as well. And my mum's like, "What? What's going on? What happened?"
It's a question that's never been answered. Nick's birth confounded the doctors then and still does.
So this was never detected on ultrasounds?
Correct.
Your mum medication while she was pregnant with you?
No medication. Wasn't thalidomide. That was a decade before I was born. And so she knew all about that. She didn't even take Panadol or any painkillers while she had a headache, and not a touch of anything else that might harm her pregnancy.
It took a while for your parents to accept their baby boy like you are.
Yes. I mean, I couldn't imagine the shock, the grief, the natural feelings of guilt, anger, confusion.
It sounds like a period of mourning almost for them.
Oh, it was.
When you were born.
For about 4 months. It was hard. You know, when I was born, my mum didn't even get flowers from anybody. You know, you get a firstborn son, no one sent any flowers. Yeah.
But despite his lack of limbs, Nick was a perfectly healthy baby, and with sheer will, he adapted to everyday life. It's that same perseverance and imagination that drives him today.
That foot of yours is amazing.
Isn't it? I mean, without it, I'm so thankful for this little thing. You know, one day I broke it.
Really?
I sprained it. I didn't break it, but I was playing soccer one day. I sprained my foot. I couldn't walk in it for 3 weeks. Talk about feeling disabled.
And I suppose having that foot also at least gives you something I take for granted, is a sense of touch and feel.
This is true. It's true, because I think because I have less body surface, my skin is more sensitive than other people's. And yeah, it definitely gives me that sense of touch as well, for sure. It's quite funny, having half the blood volume in my body, everything hits me twice as hard as well. So if it's sugar, caffeine or alcohol, it hits me twice as hard. So.
Whiling away some time on the water gives Nick a sense of control and independence.
You good?
Very good. Very impressive.
Look at that! That is perfect!
Well done.
That's all right, eh?
Yep. Be able to drive a Manly ferry soon.
It's something he's always craved. As a teenager, he was determined to do things his way to lighten the burden on his parents. These days, his life is so busy, he's had to employ a full-time carer to speed up the process.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much.
But he doesn't need anyone to help him with his emails.
Do you pray for arms and legs?
Every now and then I do. I do pray for arms and legs. You know, I do have faith that God can, right now, in front of us, just, come down with his light or whatever and bang, I have arms and legs. But the joy of having no limbs and being able to be used in such a unique way and powerful way for people, like, you can't give me any amount of money to even consider taking a magical pill to have arms and legs right now.
I'm here tonight to tell you this, that no matter who you are, no matter what you are going through, that God knows it, he's with you, and he's going to pull you through.
Nick's disability has become his drawcard. On the spiritual circuit, his ministry, Life Without Limbs, is now one of the biggest shows in town. So far, he's visited 14 countries and spoken to 2 million people.
6 years ago, you were speaking to 300 Year 10 students at a school in Brisbane.
That's right.
What's the biggest crowd you've spoken to today?
Now 110,000 people. Yeah, that was in India. It was incredible. Talk about nervous. My palms were sweaty. It was just...
Your palms were sweaty.
No, but it was amazing.
And how many people did you hug that night of the 110,000?
We did it, because I know they would probably take me home and I couldn't say anything about it.
But you love hugging, don't you?
I love hugs, yeah.
You can't shake hands.
No, I think it's a waste of time. I love hugs. I mean, I think it's a great icebreaker as well, and it's my way of physically connecting with people. Can I give you a hug? Hugs first.
The day I joined Nick at a Los Angeles church, I witnessed the impact he has.
Give me a hug. Love you.
What are the people in this very, very long queue wanting to tell you, and what are they saying?
Sometimes they actually open up and tell me the deepest of secrets of just they feel comfortable around me, and to share just what their brokenness is in their life.
And what do the kids say to you?
Oh, they love the jokes. They touch my little foot down here, and we give high fives and give me some skin sort of thing. But the kids, I love the humor, and they just it's a wow thing as well. But I think a lot of teenagers though are deeply touched. It matters how you're going to finish. Are you going to finish strong?
His appeal to teenagers caps a remarkable turnaround from his school years, a time where he was ridiculed and tormented and suicidal.
There was one day I remember when I was 6 years old. I had a very, very hard day at school. And I just, hear their voices echoing in my mind, at night. And I got up out of my bed, I looked in the mirror and said, okay, Nick, I'm talking to myself. I'm saying, Nick, what do you have that is good, that no one can change, that no one can argue with? And I just wanted something, just give me something to hold on to. There's got to be something good about me. And I looked myself in my eyes and I said, hey, you got some good looking eyes.
That you do.
Thank you.
So your eyes are your limbs in a way. When you look at evangelists, they talk like this, don't they? Do you use your eyes to talk?
That's what they say about the eyes. The eyes are the windows to your soul. And when they see love resound in your eyes and they see that there's something different about you, not just your smile, but there's this joy in your eyes, this sparkle, this passion for living. It's contagious, and all of a sudden, people are jealous of a man without arms and legs, and that spins me out.
When you first meet Nick, you can be forgiven for feeling a bit awkward.
Jeez. How heavy are you?
I don't know if this is good or bad.
How heavy?
It's so fun.
34.
But it takes only a moment for him to embrace you and put you at ease.
I love you, Peter.
As for romance, well, he's dated a few girls, but at the moment, he's a single man. He hopes the future will bring marriage and more.
I'll put him on the drive.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Kids one day?
Absolutely. Yeah, medically, I can have kids. Well, I'm not going to be pregnant, but yeah. But yeah, I see kids definitely in my life. Yeah, I can't wait to be a father.
What do you look forward to most if you can be a dad, or when you become a dad?
We're going to be able to hug and play, you know, but I think it's just going to be a crazy day, me walking my daughter down the aisle. Yeah, that's going to be so precious.
Take me as you find me, all my fears and failures.
When he was born, it was considered a disaster. Shock for the doctors, confusion and grief for his parents.
Everything I believe in.
But what Nick Vujicic has achieved so far in his life is truly inspirational. His story touched me, and he hopes to tell it to many, many more.
Thank you. I want to reach the world. I really do. As many as possible. And I'll do this till the day I die, mate. I know it.
Really?
Yep. Yes.
You want to speak to millions and millions and millions?
Yes.
Well, I love how you dream big.
Why not, mate? That's the message. If a man without arms and legs is dreaming big, why can't we? Why can't we all?
Okay.
Hello, I'm Liam Bartlett. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest...
So, what do you think? What do you think of God?
Let's have your comment.
Let's have your comment. I know some of
Let's have
you
your
must have,
comments.
maybe you have watched it before, and for every time, you know, for such a video, every time you watch it, there's something to learn. So let's know.
Cynthia, thank you for joining. Okay, this is God's own child.
Yes.
This is great work of God Almighty. It can only be God.
Okay,
Can
let's
only be God.
also watch another video of him.
Yeah, let's quickly watch another one.
Despite the many challenges this disability created for him.
This is so interesting.
Nick Vujicic was born with no arms and legs. Despite the many challenges this disability created for him, he was able to rise above everything and live his life without limits. He became a best-selling author and motivational speaker who inspires millions of people to not give up on themselves. This is the inspiring story of the man without limbs who achieved the impossible and became limitless. Nick Vujicic was born with a rare disease called tetraamelia syndrome. That means he was born with no arms and no legs. When his father saw the baby for the first time, he was so shocked that he almost fainted. His mother was also devastated and refused to hold the baby for months. With time, they accepted his condition and did everything in their power to make him happy. But they were sad and worried about Nick's life. They knew that their son will have many challenges and difficulties, but they decided to help him in every painful moment, and Nick had a lot of them. Nick struggled physically, but also mentally and emotionally. At school, he was constantly bullied. Because of his looks, he was laughed at and avoided by the other kids. His fears grew more and more each passing day. They became more paralyzing than his disability. This young boy lost all hope that one day life will get better. I thought to myself, I'm done. You know, all the bullying at school, all the teasing. My mom and dad don't know if I'm ever gonna get married. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be independent. If I don't have a purpose, what's the point? If my pain's not gonna change, I want out. A man without vision dies. I didn't see a good vision for my life, and I started dying on the inside. I was never crippled until I lost hope. So at the age of 10, he tried to end the pain. He didn't want to live anymore, but one image kept coming in his head. His parents crying and wishing they could have done something more. So he stayed because of them, because they didn't deserve the pain. After many years of depression, at the age of 17, Nick read about a disabled man who refused to let his disability control his life. That felt empowering and changed his perspective. He stopped looking at everything he didn't have and felt grateful for the many things he already had. In that moment, he decided that his disability won't dictate his life. He promised himself that he will never give up again. If you can't get a miracle, become one. At a very young age, he founded his non-profit organization Life Without Limbs and became a famous motivational speaker and best-selling author. In 2008, at one of his speeches, Nick met a beautiful woman. They soon fell in love and got married, and today, Nick is the father of 4 beautiful children. Every day, he inspires millions of people around the world with his desire to live limitless. Despite his disability, Nick lives his life to the fullest. He loves to paint, he swims, he loves skydiving, he surfs and plays golf. So tell me, what's your excuse? Remember, no matter how many times you failed and lost hope, you have the power to change your destiny. I encourage you to accept that you may not be able to see a path right now, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Adjustments are necessary along the way because life isn't always rosy, but it's always worth living. You may have arms and legs, but unless you know 3 things: number 1, who you are and what your value is; number 2, what is your purpose here in life; and number 3, what is your destiny when you're done here? If you don't know the answers to any of those 3 questions, you're more disabled than I. Fear is the biggest disability of all. It will paralyze you more than being in a wheelchair. So, what's your story?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it could be emotional. Just as we said, some of you have watched this before. But every time you have opportunity of watching this, it reminds you the awesomeness of God. It also, tells you or teaches us so many things. You
God
want
is
to say?
limitless. God is actually limitless. And
Hmm.
with God, there is nothing you
Absolutely
cannot
nothing.
achieve.
Can you imagine? No hands, no legs. He could have just sat down, stayed
And
there,
be feeling sorry for
and
himself,
be,
morning, afternoon, night,
self-pitying himself, morning, afternoon, yes,
and complaining
and be
all
looking
that.
for urgent 2K.
But today,
every now and
hey,
then, he had the
go
he had the opportunity to just sit back, wait for people to bring food, wait for people to give him money, wait for people or even government to clothe him. But he said no. In fact, they were bullying him. They bullied him in school. They oppressed him, even his parents. Sometimes, of course, given, what they would have been
they'll
asking
be weary.
themselves.
They'll be weary, and they will not be so happy. But in all of this, he has gone ahead to not just be a celebrity, but an internationally recognized figure.
Yes.
Oh,
He said, according to him, when he was about 8, 9, thereabout, he was so depressed, and all he was thinking of was, but he said that he looked himself at the mirror And instead of looking at the
What
things
he
that
was
he did
seeing.
not, what he was lacking,
Mm.
what he did not have, he was trying to figure out what good thing that he has in himself. And
That-
guess what? He said his eyes.
Mhm.
Of all things, his eyes. So there are people, you will be looking for what you don't have. You'll be concentrating on what you don't have, what God has not done for you. But you always forget what he has done for you.
And you
You
have
always
so
forget
much
what
at
you
your
have.
disposal. Hmm.
So many things
Mhm.
that you have, that you can achieve. He looked at himself and said, oh, I have good eyes. And that he can achieve something. And he started. And you saw him. He could do practically everything.
Everything.
And yet there are some of us, our arms are complete. We have all the sense organs,
And yet,
everything.
morning till night, we'll just sit down
We'll just
and
sit
be,
down
you know, calculating who will reach out to give us
to give
2K.
us money, or keep blaming our parents or our friends. Okay, if not that my dad or my mom didn't do this, oh dear.
If
He
only
did
my
not-
if only my dad was so and so, or
Yes,
my mom was so
so, so,
and
so,
so.
so. But here you are. You can be that person that you want to be. You have all the resources. You know. And how do you do that? And that is the purpose of this. Have faith. Have faith. Faith in everyday life. It's not a one-off thing. You know, trust in God when you face your own Goliath. Trust in God, you know, when you face your own challenges. Trust in God when you find out that there are things you don't even have that you need or that you want. Trust in God. Believe in Him. Exactly what He did. And today, He's a motivational speaker. Today, He preaches the word of God to people. Today, you have watched Him. You have opportunity to change your narrative. You have opportunity to recreate your life, your situation. You know, sometimes some of these challenges may not be your exams. You know, it may be family issues. It may just be peer pressure. But whatever it is, just have that trust in God. Believe in God that you will overcome. And before you know it, you will just find that you have overcome it. Then you should also have the courage to stand out. We have about maybe 8 to 9 billion people in the face of the earth.
Mhm.
Yet there are people that when you mention their names, you will know about them. How do you want to stand out in these billions of people? You have opportunity. If Nick, if Nick did it without arms, without legs, what about you? I am here to encourage you today that you have better opportunity to stand out from the crowd. Okay. Then God's power. Know that it is not by your own power, you know, but God's own power. It's with God's own power that you can achieve some of the things that you can achieve. You know, it says that it's not of him that willeth,
No, him that runneth,
it's of him that runneth,
but
but
God
it's of
that
God that
showeth
showeth
mercy.
mercy. He recognized from the very beginning that if God could give him good eyes, God can still make him to achieve things in life. And that's why he's preaching the gospel.
He started using his mouth.
He started using his mouth to confess positively. He didn't use his mouth to be abused. If you just read some people, they will be abusing God. God, why did you create me like this? What happened? How did I offend you? The parents would have also been there, been wondering, how did they offend God?
But
But no.
he was not just preaching, he was also a motivational speaker, encouraging people that ordinarily should be encouraging him.
Yes. So it is not of his own strength, but of God's power. Now, if you recognize the fact that you have God, in fact, maybe I should share one story. Okay, what time do we have? You know, it's a story of my You know, my life when I was much younger, I think I was about maybe 7, 8, 9 years old then. The same way Nick said that they were bullying him. There's this particular boy, he bullied me. We're on the same street. Anytime I'm passing in front of their house, he must rush out. You know, he will bully me, he will kick me, and not once did I challenge him. I couldn't challenge him. Why? Fear. And what brought the fear? You know, news spread in that street, and it was so powerful. You know, in fact, he was taking both our seniors, our mates, let alone our junior. So because of that, I was so scared. I was so afraid of it. So anytime I'm passing in front of their house, if I look, this social media notification didn't start today. I don't know whether it's village people or whatever that causes that. Whatever prompts him, I don't know. He will rush out from their compound. He will kick me left, right, and center. You know, then I was scared. But one day, guess what?
You summoned courage.
I summoned. Well, what happened was, my mom sent me on errand, so I had no choice but to pass in front of their house. And the same thing that always send notification to him, sent notification to him that I was passing. And as he was rushing out to also give me, you know, for me to collect, I sighted my grandma. My grandma was coming from the opposite direction, coming towards our
at
house.
least you knew that
So
if you faced him,
I just knew.
somebody would save you.
I knew that one of two things must happen. You see, today, one of two things must happen. If he's beating me, my grandma will save me. And if I beat him, it's only God that will save him. So one of two things must happen. So I gained courage.
And faced him headlong.
So as he just he ran towards me. You know, there's a saying that when you see who you go feel beat, you know, they even ask God, make he give you power. Because you know you can beat the person, so you won't be praying to God. So he felt that he beat me. So he threw his guards, you know, because his own was, let me just go and deliver this beating
But that day you bent
go
down
back.
and
You know, as he ran towards me,
you turned to David.
I turned to David that
Dealing
day,
with Goliath.
you know, as he ran towards me, before he knew it, he was up. And I registered him on the ground.
In fact,
You know, he didn't believe it. I sat on him and I was now pouring sand and every object I saw on his face and everything.
that's the way you do.
Now, as I was doing that, my grandma rushed and was beating me.
It was
That I
even
want
you.
to buy
It
somebody.
was even you that she was now holding.
Yes.
Meanwhile, what
Anyway,
gave you courage?
Now, this is the reason for this story. I had that inner strength. I had the ability to challenge him before. I had the ability, you know, to beat him.
But you did not know.
But I did not know that I had that. Why? Fear. Because of fear. So where did that strength come from that I used in not defeating him? And there's something I didn't tell you. After that, he was now my friend. So anytime I'm passing, he will come and give me granite. It's either he gives me granite or he gives me sweet, you know. So from that day, news spread. So where did that strength come from? It was in
there
me.
all along.
It had been there all along. I did not utilize it. I did not realize it, let alone using it. And I'm speaking to somebody today. You have that inherent ability. There is something in you that you can use to get what you want. Something in you. You have not given it any thought. Nick realized that he has good eyes. And look, he just said eyes, but he was looking at physical eyes. But in him, God was seeing spiritual eyes. So he saw things that ordinary people couldn't see. People were looking at him without hands, without legs. But he was seeing himself as a champion. What is it you have that you are not using? You have the opportunity to activate that now. I activated the strength in me, and that was how I defeated the boy that was bullying me. David activated the strength in him. That was how he defeated Goliath. Nick activated the strength in him. That was why he's not a motivational speaker, going around the whole world, talking to people, preaching the gospel. You have eye, you have nose, you have mouth, you have ear, you have head, you have brain, you have blood running through your body, you have arm, you have legs. What are you doing? Do you just sit back and say, because my parents didn't send me to school, that's why I'm this, that. And because my uncle didn't help me to get a job, that's why life is treating me like this. And because I don't have friends. No. 1,000 times no. Once you are above 18, you don't have any right to blame your parents again. There are people that created a niche for themselves from where they were. You can do that. You can achieve that. Anyway, I think I have said so many things, but let me see what you have to say. Let's read the comments. Let me just go to the comment section and see what you have to say. You know, Abigail said, fear could not allow you see the strength. Yes, fear. And so many people today, they are afraid. And well, many times, those things that we are afraid of don't even happen. You are afraid you will fail exam. You are afraid this lecturer will fail you. Eventually, the lecturer will not even fail you about the exam. You are afraid of doing something. You are afraid of doing that thing. Eventually, you did it. I want you to see fear as a mirage. When you are traveling on the express, from a distance, you will probably see, maybe a watermark or whatever on the road. When you get to that place, you find out that it's not watermark, it disappeared. It's a mirage. See fear as a mirage. It doesn't exist. It may even be there, but when you have faith, it will disappear. It will fizzle out. So thank you, Abigail. Fear could not allow you. Yes, fear has held so many people bound. Fear has made people not to achieve what they wanted to achieve. There's a job you want to apply for, and because of fear, you are saying they may not take you. And that reminds me, there's somebody, I wouldn't mention his name because he's a global figure, he's a known name, But when he left university, he had third class. And there was a job opportunity in a bank. They published it in newspaper, and he saw the advert, and it was, they said, minimum of 2-2, second class lower. So for you to apply for that job, either you have first class, second class upper, or second class lower. Not for third class. He had third class. Then he applied for that job. And he wrote a special letter. In the application letter, he said, I know that this job is made for those with minimum of 2-2. I have third class, but that third class does not define me. It does not define who I am. Please, give me the opportunity to prove myself. He wrote that in the application. And when they were, the bank, when they were now looking at it and saw that right up, he had the third class, but it's okay. Let them invite him for an interview. He was invited for an interview. He passed the interview. He was employed. He rose to become the branch manager in that bank. He rose to become a senior staff in that bank. He left that bank, set up his own bank. And
in fact,
can you imagine?
The rest is history.
The rest is history. Can you imagine? If because of fear, if he had allowed that fear that he had third class, and they were asking for 2-2, if he had just sat back and said, well, God, you see, I would have applied for this job, but they said they want 2-2. Since I had third class, so I won't apply. Fear.
So many people
there's beauty pageant or something.
Village
people. There's something, contest coming up or whatever coming up. You just look at the people. See all these people. How am I sure? Anyway, they've already taken the people they want to take. fear. Fear.
You're even going far. You're even going far. Let me just give you a very simple example. A simple example is if you're engaged on family trends, sometimes there may now be reasons for you to smile. But do you know, anytime something comes up and you post it, let me just give an example. You can even say molar for one. You will just see people type in there, congratulations to the because
Yes,
they already
know that
they
they
already
have-
have sidelined themselves and believed that
It
they are
cannot
not,
be them.
it cannot be them. Thank you.
You know,
You just see people go there. Most times you don't see people ask, what can I do
to even
for it to be me?
Exactly.
They are just there saying congratulations to the person, congratulations in advance. So,
And if you didn't, let's assume someone else got it. Not just only about family trend, but
any
assume
other
somebody
place you
else
find
got it.
yourself,
Have you asked yourself, what did
can
this
I
person
do so that it will be me the next time?
You know, and maybe that should give me opportunity of telling another story which may inspire you. In primary 3, primary 3, there's a subject in primary 3 we call handwriting. Handwriting, teacher will give us something to write. We copy it into our handwriting note. And I found out that I was scoring 2 over 10. I said, what's going on? Sometimes I was thinking that maybe if I cancel anything, that's why I shouldn't score high mark. So if I cancel anything, you know what I will do? I will tear that leaf out because I don't want any stain. I will write and ensure everything was perfect. The highest, 2.5 over 10. And there was one boy, Angos Ikechi. He later turned out to be a footballer and a national footballer. Angos Ikechi, his handwriting, he was always scoring, the least was 7.5 over 10. 7.5 over 10. And I was there scoring 2.5 over 10. One day I had to approach Angos Ikechi. How do you do this? I collected his notebook. And I was going through his notebook. I saw the way he was writing. If he wants to write THE, his T will start from the very, there's this book, writing book, the pink and blue, 2 blue lines and 1 pink. I don't know if they still have it. He will start from the pink line, draw it, cross the first blue line to the second blue line. Everything perfect. When I saw his handwriting, I said, Jesus, why were they not giving this guy 10 over 10? In fact, I should have even been scoring 0. I was now assessing myself, and I started practicing the same way Angos was writing. And guess what? I look forward to the next handwriting subject, and I got 8 over 10. I was not competing with Angos Ikechi in handwriting. Why? Because I went out there to see what Angos was doing right that I wasn't doing. I hope this will encourage somebody out there. Always look out for, see those people that are getting it right, all those ones that are doing it well and are succeeding or excelling. Find out what they are doing that you can do. It's very, very important.
And this applies to every area of life. It's not only when it comes to strength, it also comes when you're talking about your skills, your competencies. You can develop yourself. You can learn new things, acquire skills. There are so many things you can do. There's so much that God has deposited inside of you. In fact, if after today, you don't sit down and ask yourself, what 4 things can you do again so that you'll be having 4 sources of income, then you haven't actually benefited from this program. Ask yourself, what is it that will set you apart from everyone else? Those people that you sit down and watch that are celebrities, to be very honest, in my language, they say, "Fenweri sinabo." Fenweri sinabo. And it's the truth.
Meaning they don't have
Because
2 heads.
I didn't even want to tell them the meaning. I didn't even want to tell them the meaning so they can find it out for themselves. Because really, it's the same one head God gave you that God gave them. So what is holding you? That every time you see that, even some of you have songs inside of you that have not been vetted.
Yes.
You will sit down, Davido, Whiskey, Rema. I know I hear all those names, you know, and all that and all that. Some of you are bigger Remas. Some of you are bigger, you know, some of you have so much music on the inside of you that you need to bring out. You know, when you talk about writers, you talk about Chimamanda, you talk about some of you.
You can write.
You can even write, if not himself, your bigger Aristotles. You can write poetry. You know all those words you tell that girl that you like. Put it down on paper. Start putting them down on a book. All those your words when you want to toast babes. Start writing them down. You can piece poetry together or even form lyrics of songs for those who can sing. They will pay you for writing the songs. They will now sing it. But you can be a songwriter. There is so much you can do. You know, I just feel like, you know, just gingering you so much. There's a lot inside of you.
Inside of you. A lot.
A lot.
And you may not know until you sit back and reflect, you know. Because some you just do it. You just
Yes,
think it's
you
and
can
you
blog.
enjoy doing it.
Yes.
Then you forgot that you can actually
You can actually create value.
from
Turn it into a source of income. You can blog. You can create content. Some of you, when you stand in your mirror, you know, you're dancing and all that. Record yourself. Start posting it on your page. You know, do so much with casual things that you do. In fact, I saw somebody with millions of followers. And what does she do? She just sits down. Her lunch, she just that it's always a large proportion of food.
Yes.
And she just sits down and eats, you know. She shows where she starts eating and where she ends. But I don't even believe that one human being can finish all that food. It's just editing and effect. But she has massive followers in millions. You know, there's so much you can do with your page.
Yes.
Just get going already, okay?
All right, so we just go through. Comfort Bella say true talk, Mom. Abigail say exactly. You know, Warisco said driving spirit. Okay, Innocent say seriously, I never think of this for once. Then you just bring it on, Mommy.
There's so much. Innocent, you have so much inside you. So much.
Yes.
So much. So much.
Comfort say we have a lot of hidden talents that are yet to be discovered. Exactly.
Yes.
So Kingsley say the same head though.
So
the same one head.
Tomorrow is too fast. Start discovering them now.
Joy Emmanuel, how are you? Say wow, what a great zeal. Okay. This line was there say it encouraged me. Good.
You know, so let nobody listening to us sit down and say, I don't have a job. Yes, we're praying that you'll get jobs, but you can also even create the job. I'm telling you, okay, it's a very simple thing for you to know how passionate I am about this topic. You know, a very simple thing is that somebody just did go. Go has gone worldwide though.
Yes.
There's nobody, you just get into social media and everybody is go-going and
There's
go-going.
no 10 minutes we not hear.
There's no 10 minutes you'll not hear go. And meanwhile, some of you, your grandmothers, your grandfathers have told you folklore stories that have songs. What have you done with those songs?
Yes.
Eh? Because even me, I remember I'm thinking of what I'll do with it. It has to make sense. It has to make sense.
It's quite
even something as simple as you can make something out of it. So with that, I think
many things that you can do. Many things you can do, you know.
I think we have
imparted
value.
Yes.
And God will do the rest.
So again, thank you for participating, and we hope to see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. for the morning devotion, and 9 p.m. for networking.
Yes, bonding and
bonding.
networking.
Yes. We also have something interesting for you.
Yes.
Okay. If you have questions and comments, please put it there. We look out for them.
And we're going to respond.
Okay.
In fact, let me tell you what you will put in that comment section to make me happy. Tell me something you have thought of that you're going to start doing. Let's even also encourage you. Think of something, put it in the comment section. Say, okay, after watching the clips and after listening to you both, I think I want to, put in the comments.
Mhm. Let's see.
So,
All right.
thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you. It's always beautiful to connect with you. It's always awesome to spend time with you. In the absence of any question, any comment, any insight, you can still drop them,
Yes.
and we'll read when we sign out.
So,
Take care of yourselves.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.